Do you feel experiment research or study design questions are easy, but find yourself getting them wrong? Here's a strategy to help choose more correct answers. I'll show you what I mean by always know the purpose of the experiment research or study and reflect it in your answer on an actual MCAT question. This is a typically missed type of question, asking about why certain things were done in the experiment, research, or study in the passage. These seem simple and easy at first, since you're familiar with experimental design, which makes getting them wrong more frustrating. Pause the video and take a moment to preview the passage and answer the question before I get into it. You can even click an answer in the interactive quiz. The question is asking why 3 of the cultured plates were treated with only potable water. Even though the question is referencing passage information, before going to the passage, briefly take a look at each of the answer choices to get a general idea that they're all different regarding the data, and to get an idea of some specs in each. Like they all mention bacteria in some way, only one answer choice mentions water, only one mentions antibiotics, and 2 mention a control. Now go to the passage, and since the question is specifically referencing plates treated with water, scan for this information first. For context, the first part of this sentence says the other plates were treated with antibiotics. Even though this may not seem like enough information, after reading an entire sentence, briefly go back to the answer choices and see if this information helps eliminate or choose. Answer choice A says to measure bacterial growth in aqueous conditions, which is at least on point with water, so this is possible. Answer choice B says as a control. Control sounds right for only adding water, so this is possible. Answer choice C says to ensure that any change in the number of bacteria is a result of antibiotics. After processing answer choice B, if you concluded that adding only water makes sense for a control, then since control groups are used to compare with sample groups, this is possible as well. Answer choice D says as a positive control to measure the viability of bacteria in natural conditions. A positive control is where they actually add full treatment to make sure it is what's needed by the sample group. And treatment in this passage is antibiotics, but the water plates do not have any antibiotics, so this answer can be eliminated. The water plates are actually a negative control. Now back to answer choices A, B, and C. If anything, eliminate B since adding only water is not enough to eliminate any extraneous factors that could affect bacterial growth, especially since it's potable water, which has a ton of other stuff in it, which may affect bacterial growth. Now down to A or C. This is when knowing the purpose of the experiment and data is super important. Whatever is done in the experimental design must somehow support the purpose of the experiment. This is simply scientific method. And the purpose is to test antibiotics. So the answer must have something to do with antibiotics being tested, which makes C the correct answer, especially since the question mentioned antibiotics. And asking why 3 plates were treated with only potable water and no antibiotics makes the antibiotics important to consider when answering questions about this experiment. Answer choice A does indeed sound like a negative control, meaning no treatment at all, but it's now easy to see that it's not a comprehensive answer, meaning it's not explaining the relevance of bacterial growth in aqueous conditions to testing antibiotics, making it an incorrect answer. Spending only a few seconds to find the purpose of the experiment, research, or study, and reflecting the purpose in your answer will lead to more correct answers. Simple as that.